Hey Forum, my name is Manny, aka CascadeScents. Welcome to another video. In case it's your first time here, just know that I'm a longtime fragrance enthusiast on and off YouTube. And if you're just looking to learn a little bit about scent, or if you're also really into it already, then this might be the channel for you. Like the title of the video says, this one is on 5 niche fragrances that I think you need in your collection. Of course, no one needs fragrances in their collection or needs fragrances at all. But part of why we're into this luxury so much is because they're so flattering that you want them. And there's something about the scents that I'm about to mention here that just makes them staples for the brands that they come from. Like when it comes to fragrances from either of these brands, these are some of the first fragrances you would actually think of. So here in this video, I get to tell you why that is and why you should consider owning them as well. Links in the description below for some of the lowest prices on these just in case. That being said, we do have a lot to get through, so without further ado, we might as well get into it. The first fragrance we're going to talk about today is by Byredo. It's called Bal d'Afrique. Now historically, I love Bal d'Afrique on this channel, and you would know that if you've been on this channel for quite some time as well. Really can't get enough of that lemon and African marigold vibe. That marigold is not like a traditional stuffy floral per se. It is sweet and juicy with that lemon. It's a jovial, light-hearted kind of scent that you'd want on you regardless of what you're doing on a hot sunny day. So yes, it is perfect for the summer. It has a really nice light vetiver in the background as well. You get more of that vibe towards a dry down, and I just think it smells also really good. And overall, just very exquisite stuff. Just a very charming scent. And yes, some of the notes here are done kind of like in the fashion of a vetiver tonka by Hermes from the Hermescence collection. But overall, I think that this is the better blend, at least for me. I think it's the more flattering scent. It also smells a little bit more modern in my mind. And besides my beloved Gypsy Water, as a result, this is the first scent I would think of when it comes to Byredo. And since scents like these, I think the brand has just done a really good job of continuing to make a name for themselves for more lighthearted, charming offerings. Sure, they've had their fair share of misses, but I genuinely think that this one's a home run. And if you're looking for a unisex fruity floral for once, definitely check this out, especially on the low because Byredos are not cheap lately. So once more, this is Bal d'Afrique, or as I jokingly like to call sometimes, Bay d'Afrique. Anyway, moving on to perhaps the most obvious scent of the list. This one is Aventus, or Aventus by Creed. And for a lot of people, when they first smell this scent, this is like a home run for them, and it makes sense just because it checks off so many of the boxes as far as what you could use this scent for and the kind of feedback that it would also get you. Some people into perhaps more quote-unquote interesting offerings might find this kind of scent mundane, but I think a lot of people would agree that it's flattering and it also smells alpha, and how they use a really juicy yet yummy note in pineapple, dress it up a little bit with woods like birch, giving it this nice smoky, again masculine feel. Got some musk and ambergris in the dry down too. You really cannot go wrong with this. I'm just a fan of it overall, but it really depends on the batch that you get as well. Sometimes batches lean a little bit more fruity with a little bit more pronounced blackcurrant as well. Sometimes batches are a little bit more reliant on the smokier aspects, or again, sometimes muskier aspects, if not sometimes a little bit vanilla-y. The inconsistent nature of Aventus is frustrating for a lot of us, including myself, but I know a lot of people get a little bit of a kick out of this, so it just depends on where you stand. But all in all, I would say in retrospect, I just feel like even the worst of my Aventus batches still smell very premium in comparison to other Creed scents as well, if not once from other brands. And again, the versatility here is to die for. Again, it's just frustrating how getting into Creed Aventus itself is somehow its own little subculture. But nonetheless, it's still kind of fun for me to own one of the better batches out there in this 15 R01 thanks to Jeremy Fragrance. Again, appreciate this one, brother. But yeah, just check out Aventus already unless you really like living under that rock. Anyway, moving on to the next niche scent you need in your collection, and it is Another 13 by Labo. Now sure, Another 13 doesn't have the same trademark ring to it like Bergamot 22 or Santal 33, but I believe that's mainly because of the fact that it was an exclusive for many years. The scent was only endemic to the long-standing Colette store out in France, but sadly that place closed its doors in 2017, but that also gave way to this thing eventually becoming available worldwide. So pull up to any Labo lab, this one will be alongside your favorites in Bergamot 22 and Santal 33, and part of why I think you should pursue this scent even perhaps over those ones is that in my mind I feel like it's more crowd pleasing. I think it's genuinely harder to dislike overall between both women and men. I just think Ambroxan Bombs will do that for you in 2021. Of course, the most famous Ambroxan scent being Sauvage, but you're not really taking a blue route here. Here you have a little bit of moss, a little bit of ambrette seeds, giving a little bit of a green yet papery musky vibe, which I think is just really nice off of skin, especially if there's a little bit of heat there. I just think it's intoxicating. It's a nice scent trail. It doesn't feel overwhelming. It's not overbearing like a Santal 33, and it's not overly masculine per se like Bergamot 22. This is a scent that I feel like women can enjoy off of men can enjoy off of women, or men on men, or women in women, or whatever you identify as. I just feel like if this genderless scent trend is catching on, this to me is just the first scent I think of when it comes to those kind of scents. And had this been a general release from Jump alongside when Bergamot 22 or Santal 33 would have dropped, I genuinely believe that this would have been a hit, and I'm just so glad that people are getting their nose on it in the last 3-4 years. So happy trails to Colette and anyone who was involved with that store shutting down, but salute to Labo for introducing this to the world. So once more, it goes without saying, I hope you also enjoy another 13. Next up, moving on, here we have one from Roja Parfum. This one is called Creation E in the Parfum Cologne concentration, also known as Enigma in places outside of North America. I genuinely think that Creation E is one of the better, if not the best, more approachable DNA that you can get from Roja Parfum. So here you have hedonistic thoughts on your mind, masculine notes that you would have picked up at a speakeasy, but just smelling that much more delicious here. So main notes like heliotrope, vanilla kind of floral, along with the more typically yummy kind of stuff, cognac, tobacco, benzoin, vanilla, just a really high level smelling oriental kind of fragrance. And sure, I listed some gourmand notes, but it doesn't feel like it's too sickly of a gourmand per se. Like I've smelled tonka bean bombs in the past and they just feel like they're dripping off of my skin too much, and here, especially in this concentration, the Parfum Cologne fragrance is just right in my personal opinion. It's also not too boozy. It doesn't smell straight like cognac that you've been sipping on all night on. So if you're remotely apprehensive of smelling like an alcoholic, I don't think you will here. It's more like you just smell the inspiration of that, if that makes any sense. And it's just a perfect night out fragrance. What can I say? So definitely grab this version for a still strong take on the overall spirit of the DNA. Again, just like the Labo, it's going to be hard to find discounted, and you might not, if not won't. It might be just one that you bite the bullet on just because you can't wait, because it's that delicious. So whether you have a hot date and or you're just out with the boys, you know, just feeling your best, dressed to kill, then yeah, hopefully you guys get on this. Once more, it is Creation E or Enigma Parfum Cologne by Roja Parfum. Anyway, moving on, here we have the final niche scent that I think you should own in your collection. This one is Xerjoff by Xerjoff. Now, to be completely honest, I've been kind of eluded by this scent on my channel, at least here on YouTube, and thankfully I own it now in the form of its previous presentation. So that's just something you guys are going to have to note in case you do decide to pick this one up, because I've yet to smell the new Xerjoff in the new presentations, and as a matter of fact, I have not smelled any of the new Xerjoff presentations period. So I am going off of this, but to be fair with this, I am really happy. That honey tobacco is unmistakable period, and I've smelled honey tobaccos elsewhere in the form of something that kind of leans more cigar-ish, in like a fruity kind of cigar. So we're talking the Back to Blacks of the world, we're talking Pure Havane by Mugler, things like that. But this to me is more interesting because it's not just a sweet warm bomb. There's this bittersweet vibe with the hay I'm getting, and I just think it's really interesting. I think it's really cool, really down to earth stuff, and I think it is definitely evocative of the inspiration that this scent is and how it's kind of like a desert wind just sweeping across. So you also have smokier notes of the geography there, amber and incense as well, and I just think that this smells really nice, especially if this was like burning. Like I wish I had something like this in candle form. I think it would be really nice. But to have a tobacco for once paired with honey that isn't too sweet, again with those interesting facets, I just think it's just really cool. Like it's just cozy. Like I could go out in this, don't get me wrong. Mind you, I'm still probably going to want to turn up at like a casino or something with the Roja, for example, more than this, but there is still something to be said for, you know, wearing something like this indoor dinner date with the bae, make something nice together, and then watch something cute afterwards. Yeah, like this is this scent. Perfect evening scent even to this day, no doubt. So just saying, if you can find it in this presentation still and you fancy that, then do it. If you're looking to collect these for the first time, I'm pretty sure you aren't going to care too much, just because the new ones I still think look really cool as well. But yeah, again, I really can't confirm if this one is stronger or not, or even the previous versions are. I'm smelling what I'm smelling in front of me, and I still get an adequate amount of longevity here. So if you can still pick it up on the low, do it. Gosh, I really miss the days of when this was even lower on the gray market level. But yeah, nonetheless, still worth it in my mind, so seek it out at the very minimum. It is Chergui by Serge Lutens. And there it is, forum. Thank you for tuning into this edition of Cascade Scents. If you have a favorite one here, I would love to know. Please tell me in the comment section below. Also, is there anything else you feel like should have made the list? Please let me know as well. If you liked the video, please be sure to smash the like button, smash that subscribe if you want more of this, and if you really want more of this kind of stuff, also hit the notification bell so you'll be the first ones to this kind of video before anyone else. So until that next one, I think that about does it for me officially now. Take care, forum. Peace out. Bye. Wear your fragrances.